friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome, thank you so much for joining. This will be the process video and some chat for Joy of Blue, assuming that we can get the video made. We are having some work done in our backyard, and turns out Zeus does have a bark. I don't know if filming is gonna work, but we'll try it. And since I haven't done an updates video in so long, I just wanted to bring you along, let you know what you have or haven't been missing. Welcome if you're brand new. Thanks so much for joining me. Joy of Blue is a monthly collaboration where we share our projects, but I thought you might want to see some of what I'm doing and how it started out. I got stamps in the mail from Kathy, our friend Stampin' Cat. She said, "Do you want these?" I said, "I don't need them." And she was like, "Yeah, but," and so she sent them to me. Look at this. Look at this poppy one, Noni. I think you will like that one. I think these will be great for my nature journals, and they're also great just inspiration points, play with things. We have stamps that we can layer up, and yet somehow when I see a stamp like this where they've already got a leaf and a postage stamp and some numbers, I'm obsessed with it, but I'm sure I have those stamps. Dig through your stash. Just like all my other videos, the point of this is not to buy anything. It's just for you to get inspired and play with your stuff. So what I thought I would do is I have a blue archival ink. I know you guys are surprised. I have another blue. I have this blue. This is a nice dark blue. Zeusy. The archivals will work if you want to collage later. So I might stamp on pattern paper, like sewing patterns or tissue paper, and then I could put wet glue and it wouldn't smear. This one, I can't add water to later and have it not smear. So that's fine. It just depends on what you're doing. Can we make a video? He starts obedience classes on Tuesday. So we're still at the point where he doesn't know the words, but he's starting to figure out if you're doing something good, there will be treats falling out of my pockets. I'm just taking some things out of my stash, especially items that I have multiples of, and making them different. Janie gave me a bunch of these cards, and there's a whole bunch of them here. But when they show up in journals and projects, I don't want them to all be the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out a couple for today, and we're going to make them different. And then we can put them right back into the journal card box, or we could put them in the nature journal. But the point is, we've made them different. Couple of things when you're doing something like this: if you have a big area and you're somebody who likes to collage or layer, don't stamp right in the middle. So let me show you what I mean. If I have this, I'm going to put this floral on this floral, and I have this big card, I have a tendency sometimes to stamp right in the middle. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stamp down here because my logic is I'm probably going to tuck it into a card. So into a pocket. So if I wanted to collage or layer or stick stamps, probably not a lighthouse on this one, I would put those across the top. I have watched Christy Marcotte many times stamp on things not in the center where I would have stamped on the center, and then she does something cool off to the side with other embellishments, and I think, why don't I think of that? So just kind of keep that in mind. So I've gone as tight as I can without getting in, and then I left this open space instead of just going right here and having it be kind of plain. On this one, I'm going to stamp right on these stars because we love blue and yellow, right, Cheryl? And what we're doing here is we're playing with blue, and I'm using this new stamp set that Kathy sent me. Then I think Kathleen sent these to me a long time ago. They've been in my I'm going to play with that later box. Wishing you, sending you, but they have all these cool sentiments. Rainbows, strength, happiness, special things in life, every happiness. How cute will these be on journal cards or tiny collages? You know how I make, this one's a bad example because it's a pattern paper, but like these kind of collages, I mean, you could stamp every happiness down here if it was a solid. I just think these tinies are cool. Now, some of our eyes might not be able to read them, but that doesn't mean they're not spreading joy. Tony sent me this sticker book, and you might have seen these on other people's channels. And I looked at these one day in a bookstore, and I thought, oh, I don't need these. And Tony, sweetie, you got to quit sending me stickers because how am I ever going to use all these stickers? But look at this. It's matte. They're not shiny, which means they'll look amazing on your collages and layers. You can put them on all sorts of things. You can pull these out and put them on these journal cards or all kinds of things, your page, and they're not going to be like a shiny little kid sticker. You could take this book and your pile of bits and scraps and go away for a weekend and have a heyday. It's kind of a heavy book though. You might not want to be flying. I thought we'd just play with some of those too. Since we have a bunch of things that are the same, this is a fun way to make them different, and then we can use them later. This one isn't so much floral. It's very geometric. I think, oh my gosh, I just got to use this bird, okay? Now, I'm going to try what I said before, right? Don't put it right in the middle. I'm not sure how the diagonal thing works exactly. Maybe I want it more up here, and then I'll stamp on the pattern. How about that? Like it's flying, and then we can stamp down here. Peace and joy, special things in life. Ooh, I like that one. Let's use that one. And I don't know how well all this stuff shows on camera, but sometimes that's not even the point of it. I think the lighting is good in my room, but then when I see my videos, sometimes I'm like, that doesn't look good. But you get the idea and the inspiration from it. Okay, now, brand new stamp. What's our rule, people? Especially if we already have a project started. We do not take a brand new stamp and stamp on a project. Take something else. Doesn't even matter if you're going to see it later. There you go. And what you're doing is kind of conditioning that stamp, making sure it's on the block good, doesn't have any flaws. Then we try it. Now, I'm going to put this up here like this. Now, it's Joy of Blue, so I'm going to use a lot of blue. Okay, little crooked. Are we brokenhearted? Are we going to throw it away? No. No, we're not. Now, these are very like foliagey, and we have this bird. We have tiny bird stamps, and Tony gave me a book with 1,000,000 bird stickers in it. So I might just leave this the way it is and put something else right here, or maybe put leaves, because I feel like these don't really go. But I love it, and I would use it the way it is. I just think, oh, it could use a little more right there. So we'll set that aside. This VersaFine takes a bit to dry, so you want to be careful when you're moving your stuff around. It doesn't dry as fast as a dye ink. So that's why I'm setting these off to the side. Doesn't mean they're done and we're never going to play with them. It just means they need a minute. I think you saw this in a different video, but I thought, we have this right here. Let's play that up and bring in some foliage or something over here. How about this big rectangle one? Now, there's a thought process that is, well, you should collage or layer in order. Biggest items or textured things first, and then you put your stamps on later. Okay, that's all great. But we're playing and having fun. And here's the other thing. If you put something together and you don't like how it comes out, like maybe I come back later and I go, oh, this is my only one of these cards and I want to use it for something else. I wish I hadn't put that stamp just plain on there. I wish I would have layered it. Well, glue some stuff on the top of it. But what this does is when I have my stamps out and my ink out and I have time to play, I am using them all up. I'm not stamping one image and putting them away. And at some point when I'm traveling or away on a weekend trip, I'm going to pull one of these out and be so happy that I already stamped on it because maybe I forgot stamps or maybe I don't have stamped images. Now, I made that overlap a tiny bit on the napkin on purpose. I kind of love that just because it helps connect things. I lost the other one already, you guys. Do you see it? Here we go. Then I thought, let's put this one over here. Kind of just, there's the edge of the napkin and then there's some more stuff. Is it going to stamp perfectly flat and have a beautiful stamped image? No. And did this one? No, because I collaged on the other side of it and underneath it. But it just adds some more interest so it doesn't seem like the butterfly's just glued on the top. And who knows, maybe I'm going to come in over the top and put a sentiment later. But just playing with the stamps, having a great time. Okay, now I had one of these and I thought this was adorable. These are someone else's idea. My apologies. I think it may be Bonnie of Bonnie and Clive. Clive is her cat. Okay, so I thought this would be cute right here. I make these and I've sometimes decorated them like across the bottom a little, but I don't think I've ever come back and stamped right in the middle. And I can imagine these in nature journals. This one is made with, I think it's a Japanese book. I mean, I don't know what it says. That's not the point. And then you would put stuff in the pockets that won't quite fit and dress it up a bit. And this will just add a layer of interest. And maybe something will be tucked in the pocket and then the stamp will show behind it. This is kind of a gooey, thick ink. So if you don't want your images that strong, you could, maybe you only have one ink. You can stamp it off. Stamp the first one on something you're going to use for a card where you want it super bold, and then the next stamping would be lighter, and maybe you would like that better. Let me show you what I mean. Dude, we already did one of these with this. Let's do. I wasn't stamping on this. Oh, here's one. Let's stamp on this side because the other side you can write on. Okay, on this one, just for a difference. Oh, I'm making a gooey mess, by the way. I'm going to put this up here. Okay, then I'm going to stamp this down here. And maybe when you're doing like vintage or other stuff, you want it like that. Now, part of the reason this looks so uneven is the seam of the envelope. It would be much more even if it wasn't something like that. That doesn't bother me one bit. It adds interest, it adds character. If that was the only envelope you had and you were heartbroken, glue something over it or put one of your stickers. This thing I was thinking would be cute with something on it because I have a bunch of these tags with the stuff down there. I don't love that. If we covered that up a little, I'd actually be more likely to use that. I think I've given a lot of those away. And there's like tall things in here. The hands are weird to me. Oh, she's cool, but she's too tall. Zeusy, be good boy. You're doing great, buddy. I like these guys, but they're too tall. Isn't this crazy? Oh, that's cool. Okay, let's try it. If it doesn't work, we can always change it up later. I think it fits. There we go. Now, what I said before, right, would be to put it off to the side and layer it. I'm going to show you this. Okay, we could put this down and it would be perfectly lovely. But watch this. I have these dye inks from Catherine Pooler too, but they're pretty gooey. So they're not going to dry real fast either. Let's use the archival. Funny, I put it on there because it will dry really fast. And if you get archival or permanent inks on your table or craft space or whatever, not that you would ever do that, alcohol. Rubbing alcohol is the best. Hand sanitizer sometimes works, but I just spill some rubbing alcohol on it and then wait. Now this pad, look at it. Do you have some of these oldies? It's a little bit curved and tricky. That's okay. Just be sure you get your whole stamp before you stamp, because otherwise if you come down with a big stamp, you miss the middle. Now let's go across like maybe right. Oh, I don't want it on the, yeah, it doesn't matter. I was thinking I didn't want it on the metallic, but I'm going to cover it up anyway. Now, then we'll have that bit of interest popping out behind it. Oops. Not quite. I'm not quite happy with that. Remember, it's your stamp. Like, just do whatever. See, I did get it on the counter. It's okay, don't worry. I just don't want to smear it all over our projects. This is real life, people. Okay, now, for some reason, I just don't want her quite in the middle. There we go. Now, see how that extra bit, now, I just can't. It's just too. There we go. I did a tiny bit and didn't touch it. See how it adds a little more interest. And honestly, it doesn't even matter what stamp it is. It could have been words. Could have been this one because you'd never be able to read it anyway. Just to have a little bit of texture behind it. It could have been hearts. It could have been anything. Just adds a little bit of interest. It's nice if it's a stamp you like in case a whole bunch of it shows. I'm in love with that one. That was a fun little. I don't really have a plan, but I do know I'm going to make travel journals. I'm going to make beachy, right? We started some stuff for that. And, well, there's always the school cards. We're going to make school cards, but that's not really on my brain today. Kathy did send me some cool school stickers, so. There's some amazing butterflies in this book. Let's use one of those. My wish for you. Okay. Now, this, if it's not dry, it's going to get on my project. So if it is dry, fine, but it would get on my project, and then, you know, there's probably already blue on my project, but just in case. Okay, so let's take this one, and let's put one of these on it. I like it. Now, blue and orange is kind of crazy and bold together, but I'm not against it. It's the color chart, right? The opposite or whatever. Somebody who's art trained can tell you about that. This is a really geometric kind of thing, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to come in on that. I think I'm going to go right there. Now, these stickers have different color borders, right? Are you noticing that? There's lavender pages and blue pages. I'm okay with that. It's not going to bother me or change it up. Now, smart people, and you know I should, put something down before they stamp. I don't know that I want this a whole bunch because I don't want to take away. So I just want like little, and then we have another one. He is stir crazy, you guys. If all goes well today, he will be running around in his backyard with his new and improved fence and lawn, but he is stir crazy from having surgery. He just can't even help it. I mean, we're walking him and trying to fetch inside and that kind of stuff, but it's just not enough, even for a 9-year-old guy. If you think your dog has behavior problems, what it probably has is a human who doesn't exercise it enough. Keep that in mind. Because my dog, that is his problem right now. Yesterday, he was literally chasing his tail. Now, I almost always glue these down, but what if I didn't one time? I don't know. So I'm going to stamp on the back of one too, because it could just be a pocket in a thing. I'm not going to put a sticker on it because the likelihood of me doing that is pretty low and I don't want to use a sticker. Let's see if we can find, does this book have like tiny stickers? I think what you do if you get to know this book is maybe you put Post-its on certain pages where you're like, oh, these are the cats and these are the flowers. And I like that, but it's a little big and bright. And if you wanted to tone these down, like there was one that you just love, just take it and ink over it with like a, ooh, I like this bird. Doesn't totally work with what we're doing. But ink over it with like a tan or a brown, or peel it off and ink the edges to kind of tone it down if you wanted. Lots of people only do projects that are, what do you call them? Like vintage looking. I don't have a preference. It just depends on the day or where things are going. So I put stuff and build stuff into my stash. Look at that pansy, Andrea. That's cute. That is all different. I'm going to try this flower down here. I think it's too big though. With clear stamps, you know, you can always go over the top and see if they fit, but stickers in a book, not so much. So there are ways of making things. Ooh, this guy looks littler. I think this might work. There are ways of making things work. There we go. I like that. And then we would put something, not this, but something like this in this pocket, and then that would stick out behind it. Love it. And then maybe we have a little tiny narrow stamp to go there. I'm checking the wall. I've got a lot of really skinny text, but I don't see like a twig or a branch that is as tasteful as these. I've got some like old Stampin' Up kind of cartoony plants. Cartoony plants, is that a thing? I guess it is now. I'm going to, I wanted to try this one. So for this card, you can only write on this side because the other side's so dark. But what I was wondering is, what if we came in with one of these stamps? Would it show? And would it be cute? And if it's not, well, we'll put something over the top. I'm going to use this one. I've completely mixed up what goes in what now, so maybe we can just get a different stamp. You don't have to keep all your inks separate and everything, but if you do, then you're not mixing kinds and damaging your inks, right? I don't know if that's a real thing, but just in case. Okay, so, and the VersaFine is kind of gooey, and it's not an alcohol base, so I just don't think you want to mix that in your archival pad. Oh, that is cute. I don't think it's going to show on here very well, but wow, it's gorgeous. And I'm just going to twist it because if I try and make it upright, people are going to think it's bad if it was crooked, right? But if it's like that, then I meant to. That is kind of neat, and it just adds a little bit of interest. And then we could come in over the top with a little bit of collage. I don't want to put a lot of stamps and stickers and layers and bulk and bits of fabric down here because I almost always do a bottom corner horizontal or other corner tuck. I don't do a lot of top tucks, so I don't want the bulk or the decoration to get torn off. Does that make sense? So kind of think about how things go together and how you like them. That's why I'm not going to put bulk down here, but I might glue a bunch of trim and ribbon and something up here. Not that one, but it could happen. I like these. We did some of these. Let's use this stamp again because I really liked it and I want it to show. Your turn's coming up, buddy. We're going to have to go on a W-A-L-K. I don't know why I spell that word. He has no idea what that one means. Because this one has a lot going on down here, I am going to put this right across here because this stamp has a lot of fine details and I didn't get them very much on the last card and I want to on this one. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Little strawberries and blossoms. Bit of French. Nice. Then if you wanted to, you could put like, you know how I have all those really big, wonderful, inspiring sentiment stamps and I can't find any of them right now? One of those would be great across the bottom because it would still fit in the pocket. Like one of these. Well behaved, too tall. Anyway, you get the idea. We can do that later. Maybe you'll see that in the finished video. Also, we are running out of batteries. This gives you an idea of what I was doing and what my plan was. And then in the Joy of Blue video, you should have seen the actual finished projects. I also have some amazing wallpaper that Emily sent me, a bunch of wallpaper samples. And I want to play with these, so I don't know, maybe I'll make something with one of these for Joy of Blue. How cool would these be for things to put into journals? Or like, wouldn't this be an amazing journal cover? I mean, this thing is gorgeous. So many choices. I hope you're crafting and doing well. I have been sick, but I'm better now. Zeus is healed. We're doing great. I'm planning a trip to Kansas City again. I think Nancy's going to meet me there. Scraps KC, I tell you. If you haven't been, you got to go. I don't know what else is going on. So I hope everyone is doing great. I will show you the updates on my backyard when it gets all these strangers out of it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing. Bye-bye.